Snigsnag literally stole a character from Deltarune and just became its whole everything.
You can't see it, but I'm saluting that man for successfully stealing a character.
It's like,
and people
I'm
just
him now. I don't even remember this character's name. In my mind, it's just Snigsnag. Sing to me, Calliope, muse of epic poetry, of the monsters underground, and the LV we can choose to leave behind. Sing of the wrath and the determination, and the choices we make along the way. Welcome to FanDive. My name is Chaos.
My name is Andy.
And today we are finally doing the requested Undertale episode.
I don't know about finally. I think it was coming, but...
We kept saying it was coming, and then I was like, oh, we might loop it into the Stanley Parables episode, and then we just kind of didn't at all.
Well, I was struggling with tech, and you were sick, so I think we can just leave that episode as its own thing.
I mean, I'm still kind of sick, but I'm able to communicate and not be dead at my desk. What? So now we're talking about Undertale.
Please don't die. Nobody die, got it? Not allowed.
We're fine. But yes, Undertale. It is a video game.
Plenty of people die in Undertale.
Well, that depends. So Undertale, once again, is very much kind of, I don't want to say choose your own adventure, because that's not as accurate as it was when we talked about Stanley Parables. But it is a multiple branching pathway video game. There's really 3 paths. There's pacifist, neutral, or genocide. And needless to say, people have opinions on those.
I would like to argue that it's not 3 different storylines. You're going to get the same beats no matter what. It's just people's opinions and dialogue that changes, except for the one. Actually, no, the end does have more differences, but...
The end is... Okay, I guess it's more accurate to say 3 different endings. There's actually a lot of different endings, but there's 3 different core endings. And it also, like, emotionally impacts you differently, which is why they're considered so aggressively separate.
The game is, in short, to me, a game about morality and consequences of the choices you've made. Because it's a video game. You think it doesn't matter because it's a video game? I don't know where I was going with this. It's a game about morality, basically.
It's a game about morality, and it's a game that's very meta in its aspect about asking you about morality, because it uses terms like LV, which we as gamers think is level. But at one point, it's like, no, LV stands for love. And then it goes, no, LV stands for level of violence. And it shows the world how many people you've killed. Because this game is not about you go to this underground area and the dungeon and you fight all the monsters. It's no, you're a human child who's fallen into a world of very scary things, but those very scary things want to care about you, and you need to care about them as well.
Yeah, well, there's one flower that doesn't want to care about you.
There's one flower who very much does not want you to be there, but that's because of his backstory, and people are complicated.
People are complicated. The game has such leading implications on nowadays fandom, just because it just kind of... It's a baseline block, especially when you're thinking of Tumblr-esque fandoms, which we typically are. It's certainly a foundational block in how we view things nowadays. Even just like the music. But... I don't know where to start.
Toriel. Oh, you know what? Yeah, we can bring up the music real fast, because it's not going to super impact the rest of the conversation. Anyone remember Ranboo, the insanely popular and pretty heckin' talented dude? Ranboo. Yeah, so a period of time, they were doing this lore. And this lore had this very sad implication behind it. And whenever they needed to go, well, now it's time to be sad, they would play an Undertale song.
Okay, but also there's one of the songs with the, what's it called? Tammy Cat shop thing, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
That's used in so many people's videos in the background. You go watch a YouTuber, Animal Crossing music, and it's Undertale music in the background.
Video game music, for the most part, there are exceptions, are really good background music for YouTube videos, because they're not copyrighted. Now, Undertale does have an issue of like 1 or 2 songs are copyrighted just due to a mistake in uploading them to Spotify. But for the most part, they are safe to use on YouTube and Twitch. And so that's why people went, oh, these are lyric-free, very boppy, very chill, like very emotion impact done musics that we can just use. So people tend to use them.
Yeah. And it's a fun thing about Undertale specifically is the creator of the game itself, which it was an indie game, 2015. He also composed all of the music, if I am not mistaken.
Oh, I think there might have been like 1 or 2 people involved, but for the large part, it was made by like next to no one. It was Toby Fox and Tammy, and maybe like 2 other people.
Is that how you pronounce that? It's just always been Tammy to me.
It might be Tammy. It's been a hot minute since I've played the game. Fun fact, I've never beaten Undertale. I'm incapable of getting past Metatron.
Yeah, imagine that. Imagine the game actually getting more and more difficult as you go on. I respect anyone who can beat Sans fight. Simply the gaming skills.
Let's quickly talk about the Sans fight. So, a lot of people have never encountered the Sans fight because they did not choose the genocide route. The Sans fight is something that you only interact with if you've killed every other character in the game up until that point. Right before you enter into the final boss room, you have a conversation with Sans, who has been a friend to you since you basically entered the world out of the tutorial area. And Sans, you know he's a little goofy, he's a little weird, but there's always something that's like, you shouldn't be where you are. And you exited stage left and have appeared stage right in a way that does not make sense. There's something odd about you, but you're silly, you're punny, and you're a caring brother. But if you kill everyone, especially if you kill his brother, he will show up, and he will give you the hardest fight you have ever imagined. And there's 2 different songs in the Undertale playlist. One titled The Song That Will Play If You Fight Sans. It will kind of cue you in on like, oh, you might fight Sans in the future. But that song is never played. The song that plays when you fight Sans is Megalovania, the Song of Nightmares.
I've heard it too many times.
But you will only fight him. You will only hear that song if you kill everyone else. And a lot of people can't do it because the characters show compassion and emotion and aid you on your journey. And the idea of killing them is not super great for most people.
It's also just like hard to do.
It's also hard.
Because some of the people fight well. I mean, it's an interesting fighting mechanic. It's not the typical like punchy. It's move your mouth around and avoid the bones flying across the screen.
Yeah, you have to dodge every attack given to you, and you have to respond with either making sure the person like understands like you're both surrendering, you're both choosing peace, you're choosing to spare each other. Or you can like, hey, I'm going to tell you a joke. Hey, I'm going to roll around in dirt so you think I'm a dog. Hey, I'm going to laugh. I'm going to be your friend. I'm going to lay down with you. Like, you have to do something to show compassion in order to be able to spare them. And then together you choose not to have violence anymore.
Which is why is considered like a role-playing game, because it has this choose how you behave. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Oh no. Oh no.
Oh my god, the dog that you can pet, and then every time you pet it, it gets excited and extends its neck. And if you keep petting past the point of you can spare them, the neck will go above the screen and then come back from under the screen. It is amazing. It is adorable.
There's so many little things in the game that are so humorous.
Nasta Bloop?
What?
The ghost.
What?
The ghost who cries and his tears turn into a top hat. Right?
Mm-hmm.
There's this tiny room that you can completely skip over, but you can go find this guy's house. And you can go vibe to music with him, and you can go watch snails race, but if you push your snail too hard, the snail will catch on fire. You don't need to go that way. Nothing tells you to go that way. But you end up finding it. You end up loving
There's
it
a
there.
sign.
There's a
There's a
sign,
sign
and that's about
that
it.
just says
But
warning, dog marriage.
there's
And then if
warning
you try
dog
to read it
marriage.
again, it says, yes, you read that right.
And the signs, and like there's so many funny little moments, but then there's also really sad moments too. Like, these monsters are trapped underground. They can't go to the human world, so they've been sealed away.
Yeah, so lore-wise, they were trapped by the humans, I believe. Down here, you can't interact with us. You're stuck here. We're gonna keep you here. And through time, different humans have fallen down, and none have succeeded in getting themselves or the monsters out. And that is your job. Congrats. As the main character, try and go home.
Yeah, and to say they didn't just not succeed, they were all killed, and their souls were captured and are being used as fuel to attempt to break the barrier. You are either going to die and be the last piece to break the barrier, or you are going to survive and break it and free everyone with yourself.
That's not what you think when you start going. You get there and they're like, would you like a pie?
Would you like a
You
pie?
look
Would you
so
like
wonderful.
to donate to our spider bake sale? And if you get the thing at the spider bake sale and you eat it in front of the spider boss later in the game, the spider boss will be like, oh, you were at our bake sale. I'm so sorry for fighting you. You can go on now.
Mm-hmm. It's just details that I always enjoy in indie games because I love saying indie games because it almost sounds like I'm saying my name.
It's indie games.
It's indie games. In these indie games, there's so many details that they added just for fun because they were creating this as a fun project, not as a make millions of dollars project. And so they get to add warning, dog marriage. Yes, you read that right.
There is it must have been a Tumblr post. I'm on no other social media besides everything else. There is a Tumblr post I saw the other day of someone saying how they don't like AAA games because they're all point and shoot, boring games, quote unquote. Like, this person was saying how all AAA games look the same nowadays because they need to appeal to this mass market group, and it just doesn't have any like funness in it anymore. And I think that's why indie games, AAA games need to appeal to so many people, they lose the creativity. And I think that's why indie games have gotten so popular, is because someone is making a game for themselves. Like, that's it. End of story.
I somewhat agree, but I also somewhat disagree. I think indie games have become more popular because it has been more accessible to the everyday person to be able to create these. It's no longer something only the really rich people who've gone to school for 20 years know how to do. With the technology we have in our hands, and if you have a computer, you can probably do some level of coding. And I think that's also partially why, is because so many of the larger companies will create these games that don't feel finished. And so people went, I have the creativity, I have the stuff in front of me, let me make something. And sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. But it creates more on the market and creates more ideas out there. And Undertale was one of the first examples of that I actually like watched all the way through. That I never played it all the way through, for the record. I watched like Jacksepticeye and
Jacksepticeye was like the beating heart of the Undertale fandom.
Yeah, as he should be.
Let's see. I think Undertale came at a really crucial point of when PC gaming started to ramp up again, because early 2000s, really before 2011, PC games, one, were not super accessible, and two, were kind of a pain in the butt just in general. Like, everyone preferred console games really up until like right before Undertale. Like, that's really when the concept of like Steam as a platform to buy games really kicked off. It was right before Undertale. And that created this perfect environment of, this is a pretty cheap game, all things considered. It's not that long. It's not that skill-based. I mean, it can be if you choose to take that path. But you can also choose to take, I'm going to hit glamour 37 times and just hope for the best.
And it's also a fun, heartening story. That, like, you can do one where you're just having fun murdering everyone if that's your jazz. Or you can have fun looking in the mirror and taking a moment, despite everything.
It's still
still you. And
It's
that
such
appeals to a lot of people.
a narrative game, and that also really helps fund the fandom side of things. Like, people talk about Halo all the time. But how often do you truly interact with the quote-unquote Halo fandom as a group, as more than just a person who is a fan of Halo? Like, Undertale allowed for cosplayers. Undertale really thrived in the Tumblr Ask blog. Undertale really, like, it even has its own subsection of music inspired by Undertale because none of their songs had lyrics, so people put lyrics on top of them. And now you hear people still singing along to those songs that was made by a fan.
I will say, for people who were not part of it when it was first becoming popular, it was not exactly the most welcoming and friendly community at first.
Yeah,
It
no.
has really mellowed out.
Let's say Tumblr was not super kind to outsiders at that point in time, and it was a very Tumblr fandom.
Yeah, and people used to get so angry if you didn't play the game just so. And I remember I watched several people play the game, I was part of it. I remember people having to stop and, like, address, guys, I've not played this before, therefore I'm not going to play it the perfect way. Calm down.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was trying to bring up before I lost my train of thought of, like, people got really aggressive, not just in, like, you have to do the pacifist, you have to do the genocide route. It was, if you set up to do neutral, like you spared one person and then you killed some frog along the road, people would freak out, saying you've doomed yourself to get the neutral ending now. You've killed one frog, but you spared Toriel. And it got kind of bad. It got kind of bad, to be completely frank.
To be completely frank, there's some weird things out there with those brothers.
Oh, yeah, hi. If you scroll through the Tumblr tech, make sure you have the I don't want to see mature content filter on.
Please. I beg of you.
I beg
For
of
my
you.
own PG sake.
This was a thing on Tumblr before Tumblr got purified by the corporation.
It was real bad. The fandom itself wasn't bad, I'm not saying that. It was something I really did enjoy being a part of, learning the creativity of people. But when you have such a large group of creative people, you're gonna get the whole spectrum of good and bad
You're
things.
gonna get a bit of everything. But speaking about a bit of everything, the AUs. Very few fandoms thrive in the AU space like Undertale.
Oh gosh. Like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't keep track of it. I couldn't.
Oh.
I tried.
Okay, so they all really focus around Sans. Not the player character, not the angsty lore behind the world beforehand. Truly, if you were walking into an AU of Undertale, the picture of that AU is going to be that AU's version of Sans.
I just listen, I understand why we like Sans, but it feels like we ignore so many other characters because Sans is the one to just break the fourth wall.
I know, like, hello, we could do anything with, like, Frisk and Kara, and the fact that, like, Kara was the first, like, human to truly make connections in the underground, only for the gasp, tragedy, and now Lacasse murder, and mayhaps possession. But we skip all that to talk about the funny skeleton man.
Yeah, funny skeleton man that could beat you to a pulp.
But, oh my god, there was the reverse version of Undertale where like the cool chill brother was Papyrus, who's, you know, Sans' brother, or like there's the version of the AU where like Sans has a paintbrush and it's all about creating the underground. Oh, but what about this corrupted AU about Sans going to other AUs and killing off those AUs? Like it was everywhere.
Yeah. If you do start scrolling through these things and you're not as familiar, I would like to let it be known there is a secret character that will come up if you start looking these things up.
Oh.
That was not accessible through the actual gameplay. But if you went through the files, you could find basically abandoned character idea. I don't remember its actual name, but it's like
Wingding
this character. Sure. Also, everyone's names is font.
No, so the skeleton family is named after fonts, and that's why people went, oh, the brothers don't have other known family, therefore this Wingding dude, who has a name after a font, must be their relative. And I'm like, he kind of looks like a skeleton, but not super.
And so there's one, like, AU where he was the scientist, and they weren't actually his kids, but his experiments.
Oh, that was a good AU. I enjoyed that AU. But Undertale does have that, like, really creepy, it's like, everything's fine, and then you stumble upon the secret lab and see all the horrors that they're making. It's like, oh, yeah.
It's the everything's fine, don't look behind me.
And people really... Oh, it was W.D. Gaster. That was his name. But he spoke in Wingdings. Okay, there we go. That's what I'm thinking. But yeah, it was like it was, I don't know if it was ever truly confirmed in the game files, but like it was widely assumed he had some sort of connection to what was going on in the secret lab experiments, fusing monsters together. People love to say that he was somehow connected to the Skeleton Brothers. And you could never access him. He didn't exist in the game, but he became such a legend in the world.
He's like, ooh, secret little thing. We're going to latch onto this and never forget about it and make things revolving around it. And we're going to make lore. I don't care about the sequel. We're going to focus on this specific guy.
Is the sequel complete? Did they ever release the last few chapters of that game?
Deltarune?
Yeah, Deltarune.
I don't know. I assumed it was. But
Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 got put out a long while ago. I think Chapter 3 and 4 either are about to come out or came out like just a minute ago. I don't think Chapter 4 is the ending of Deltarune, though.
According to IGN, Fox confirming last Halloween that 3 and 4 would 100% come out in 2025.
Okay, so soon-ish. Maybe, maybe not. But wait, we haven't even discussed Deltarune yet. So Deltarune, if you take the word Undertale and mix the letters around, you can spell Deltarune. And Deltarune is basically an AU of Undertale. It is the canonical AU, where instead of the monsters being trapped underground, they all kind of live in a town. And you can tell it's an AU because like some of the characters are different. One of the characters like still has 2 eyeballs and everything, but the characters who are born underground are totally alive on the surface, and they're all just chilling in the town. And you play this character who's like kind of angsty emo, but then you get you get isekai'd into this fantasy world, and like your school bully comes with you. It's wild.
Yeah, and it's not paid as much attention to.
No, because first of all, it's not complete.
Sure, but but the whole thing is AUs. People love AUs, so I feel like some of the AUs get more fan art than Deltarune.
Yeah. I mean, Snigsnag literally stole a character from Deltarune and just became its whole everything.
You can't see it, but I'm saluting that man for successfully stealing a character.
It's like, I'm him now. I don't even remember this character's name. In my mind, it's just Snigsnag.
I always think of just like the Spades. Let me figure out his name.
Yeah, it's the Prince of Spades, whatever his name is, the annoying one.
I just looked up Deltarune, that's not right.
That's not going to help me. Deltarune's Snigsnag.
King?
No, King's his father. The younger one, the smaller one.
The small one. Lancer?
It is Lancer. Yes, there we go. Beautiful. So yeah, Lancer has now become an MCYT/variety streamer, which I respect.
Yeah. There's a person who made a hammer for Sneak Snag, and I'm gonna remember that creator for the rest of my life. Because I was like, look at this cosplayer making a hammer for Sneak Snack. This is basically just the one guy from the video game. Oh, wait, it's unique. And then I was like, oh, wait, that's Snifferish's boyfriend. It's a whole connected thing.
It's
You
a
guys don't need to know
whole
these names. It's okay.
thing. Pootwaddle, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
But listen, it all circles back around to Minecraft eventually.
Everything comes back to Minecraft.
Everything comes back to Minecraft. Well,
That's my fault.
no, it's true. You ready to move on to the Q&A?
Sure, let's go ahead.
We have 2 questions from that Biblop this week. All right, first one.
Woo, we love you.
Have y'all visited any other states besides for cons or visiting family? As I commented this week, cross Tennessee for a vacation soon.
Yes, I have traveled a number of times. I believe it or not, based on how I speak, believe it or not, I've traveled to different places before. I went to Florida once. I was looking at schools is what I was doing.
I've traveled so many places, but most of them are for visiting family because I have family everywhere. But I've definitely been to Alaska for a vacation. And I've been to both Oregon and Washington for non-cons/family reasons, though I've gone to both for both cons and family reasons. Obviously, I grew up in California. I technically lived in Utah for a period of time, but that was also in the middle of the pandemic, so I don't think that super counts. I've been to Arizona. Yeah, I've been to Arizona. Been to Nevada. I've done the West.
Yeah, so in the recent years I've done less travels, still some but less. When I was younger I would travel more and I got to see mountains, ocean. Technically I didn't. Well, I did, but in the US we went to see the ocean in Maine and got rained out instead. And I think that was one of my first memories of travel was going to Maine and eating in a cold, wet tent out of a metal can and just super good super.
Trying to figure out how many different countries I've been to. I've been in Hawaii before. Never mind. I was gonna say I've been in more countries than I have in different states, but no, I think Hawaii outranks, adds the number, tips the scales back.
I don't know. I think you've traveled more than me because I've been places, but it's typically 2-3 locations that I jump back and forth between. I will occasionally cross state borders now that I'm here, for work purposes. So yeah. But let me go to more conventions, please.
Take me to conventions, pretty please. Dude, I have a friend who literally the only convention they go to is an out-of-state one, and I'm like, what? You have local conventions. Why are you not going to your local ones? And they're just like, no, I want to go to the big one. 4 hours away. And I'm like, no!
I go to Ren fairs more than I go to convention.
Dude, this is so off topic, but I found out the other day that there is a LARP for being a part of a cyberpunk city, and I'm like, no, I need
somebody
to go.
Dressed up as Impulse FSV.
No, I'm already in my mind, I'm creating a cyberpunk OC, and I'm like, I could probably make that costume. I have a year. And the temptation is so real. I have to go.
There's a Hobbit LARP happening.
Oh, I've heard about that.
It's specifically the Hobbits, and they have things bigger than us. So I'm not going to it, but I wish. That wasn't the question.
New question. We need to go to a LARP.
I would love to.
Well, question number 2. That Biblop says, Andy's back. We missed you.
Hi. I'm sorry.
Silly question. Do you like amusement park rides? And if you do, what's your favorite?
No. Actually, yes.
I am a sucker for a good themed ride. If it's just I've built a structure for people to get adrenaline on, I'm like, you could have at least like put up a picture somewhere of like why we're getting adrenaline from this, you know? I used to be really into spinny rides. I don't think I can do that anymore, but when I was small, I loved spinny rides.
So I've actually not been to many theme park convention. No, was it no? What are they called?
Fairs?
Carnivals,
Carnivals.
all that kind of stuff. I I have really bad sensory processing difficulties. So when I go, I have to be in full noise cancelling headphones, sunglasses on, full on sleeve clothes, and it really doesn't make great time. I have been a couple times and I have enjoyed myself, but they were short trips that were planned months ahead of time. I will say roller coasters suck, but there was one ride that they literally put you on a thing and it looks like a little carousel, but then you turn and now you're upside down on a carousel. And I think that was the only one I really enjoyed because I wasn't strapped in, you're just in this little box and it
Yeah.
felt like I was flying.
I Here's the issue. I like roller coasters. I do not like loop-de-loops. And so anytime someone's like, "Oh, you like roller coasters, you should do XYZ." And I'm like, "That has 37 loop-de-loops. I don't want that." I don't think
like
I would
pressure.
mind a corkscrew because it would be fast. I just don't like the big pressure of a loop-de-loop. I like when they bounce.
Yeah,
I like when they go fast. I like when they go down. I don't like being upside down.
I like the feeling of flying. I don't like feeling like there's a brick on my chest and I am fearful for my life, but I'm not screaming because instead I just don't blink the entire time.
Oh, so a lot of people that screaming on amusement park rides, that's like not a voluntary action. It's like they have to do it. I've never understood that. I've
It's
never
absurd.
felt the need to scream at like anything.
No, if anything, I just stop talking. I just sit there the whole time. I'm too small, so I'm not actually on the seat. The only thing holding me in is the bar. I'm not on the back or the chair, just on the bar. And just sitting there silently. Ow.
I think the last
It's a
like
bizarre.
truly amusement park ride I was on was like that one at like a county fair where everyone like is put on a big disc. Everyone faces outward of the disc and it starts spinning and then it also starts like rocking back and forth. So at some point you're like horizontal. That's fun to me, but I don't know if I could like do that a whole bunch of times in a row.
Okay, so yeah, I'm talking more about my sensory processing. I have proprioception issues. Whenever I get off the rides, I'm standing with my arms out, just where am I? I feel like I'm still spinning. I want to go one day on those ones where there's like the swings in the air where they just throw you in a circle, but you're on a
Oh,
swing.
I really like those. My issue is like I'm always next to someone who's trying to like throw their weight around and I'm like that's not how this ride works. Sit still.
Yeah, one day I'll go on those.
They're
I think
fun.
it would be fun.
They're fun. All right, question number 3 from Anonymous on Tumblr. As always, Tumblr.
Message us.
I've been watching a lot of Sparkbird videos lately, and I saw that fans were giving them life series stuff.
Sparkbird.
Sparkbird! What other bands do you think deserves the gift of Grian? So Sparkbird is currently on tour, and once upon a time,
No, they
Sparkbird.
just got back.
Oh, Sparkbird just got back from tour, and once upon a time, Sparkbird did not know what the life series was. But fun fact about Spotify: musicians see what playlists that their music is being put on and listened to frequently. And so Sparkbird was like, "Hey, look at all these cool fandom playlists I'm on. I don't know what this is." And the live series kept showing up. And eventually now the fandom has like consumed Sparkbird and Sparkbird's like, "Yeah, this is my favorite live series merch and I'm wearing like the green ears and it's really cute. Truly, we have captured this musician."
So a common thing for indie artists, specifically musicians on TikTok and such, is they will be like, "What fandom do you associate with this song?" type thing. And with the song November by Sparkbird, they have the lines of can't take them out, can't push them in. I'll never hide my scars. And so everyone, good times with Scar. And from
it
there,
started before that, didn't it?
It did start before that, but that was when it became a lot more popular, is when people started associating that song with Good Times with Scar specifically. And so they were aware of it, but not sure what it was before then. And it was at that point that they had to learn about the fandom. Because suddenly it was starting to consume them. And since then, more fandoms have joined in and be like, yeah, let's go. We're also here. But
Yeah,
well,
but
that's not the question.
What musician do you think also deserves this treatment?
The one that I learned and associated with Minecraft YouTube before Sparkbird was actually Bears and Trees.
Oh, Bears and Trees is a good one.
Yeah. So they're not as much Minecraft YouTube associated anymore, but like they have a Minecraft song about mossy cobblestone. It's good.
I think I'm gonna need to double check this. The Crane Wives put out, it might have been a tweet or like an Instagram thing recently where it's like, yeah, we don't super know what this life series thing is, but people keep like putting our content in that, and you know what? We appreciate it. And I'm like, yes, step one has been achieved. Curses has become truly synonymous.
It's more than just curses, but
Curses was the one that started it all. Like, Curses is what introduced the Life series fandom to the Crane Wives, and everyone went, oh no, this is amazing.
I was so happy because, like, Crane Wives was such a big musician that I enjoyed beforehand, and then people started associating the songs, and I'm like, yes, do it more, do it more, do it more. I know that Oh Hellos also get a lot of treatment and deserve it.
Oh, hellos. You know what? Wild card, this is purely for me. Is it Florence and the Machines? Something like that? Florence plus the Machines. Freaking love that music. I truly think we need to start associating that more with, like, the Life series.
I think they're just associated with, like, animations in general.
I've
seen some of those songs.
That music is just so, like, I can see this in my head kind of music.
And of course, The Amazing Devil has some really good ones for Life series. Like, really good ones for Life series.
If you're gonna give merch to someone, Sparkbird or the Crane Wives, if you want to start associating, hey, if you want some more music in your life, may I suggest everything else?
It's just going to be me for the next several minutes going through my favorite musicians.
Okay, let me pull up my life playlist. Oh, what is it? Bastiel? They recently had an album come out called Ampersand, and oh my god, I'm obsessed. Mm-hmm. Andy, say nothing. Yeah, it's so good though. It's so good.
Cosmos Sheldrake is also great.
Sail North. I know that's purely because I like piratey sea shanty music, but I like Sail North.
Mm-hmm, of course. Hosier is a classic that you also got to throw in there sometimes. Not really for Life series specific, but there are some in there that you can't do Life series things with.
This isn't
Dirt Poor Robins.
Ooh, oh my god, Dirt Poor Robins. This isn't a band, but I need someone to do some sort of content with Down the Witch's Road. Please? Please? Oh my god, you could do that with Scar of like, Down the Witch's Road, when he's like a wizard living alone on a hilltop and he's red life and he's abandoned. That would be so good. That would be so good.
Okay, I know people should be familiar with Half Alive, but specifically Arrow by Half Alive, consider.
I
also love Less Friction.
We pick one more and then we have to stop. We can't just turn this into
Fish and Birdcage.
Oh, Fish and Birdcage is good. How is it? Gianni Key. No, oh my god, how is it? This person used to be called J Maya and then decided to start using like official name for music, and I have yet to memorize how to pronounce it. JANANI space K dot space JHA.
Janani K Shah?
I
don't know.
This it's good. It's good.
Epic the Musical.
Epic the Musical. Okay, we
I
have to stop.
predated it. I am Andy the Musical, and
We
I
have to stop.
predate Epic the Musical, I promise you.
Oh my god, I was
It
going through my
comes up
saved.
before me now.
I was going through my saved videos the other day, and I saw the video that got me into Epic the Musical. Someone was making fan art of Polites, and it was back when like "Let Me Be Your Light" was still considered like a part of the musical, and so they're like, yeah, and I would put like a sun on his like the chest of his costume that we could light up with LEDs because it was like a concept of like actually turn this into a musical. Let Me Be Your Light got cut from the musical. And I was like, right as I started following along, and I'm like, no.
I joined Epic the Musical stuff at the Athena's first son. Anyway, my name predates that. I'm Andy the Musical, not Epic the Musical, and it upsets me because
And the
it's a
J
good-
Maya person
good
voiced
musical.
Persephone in Epic the Musical.
No. Try again.
What did I just say?
You said it's
I
Persephone.
was so wrong.
He does not play Persephone. Try again.
And the J Maya person voiced Aphrodite?
Yes, good job.
Aphrodite. I was like, wait a minute. I don't even know what I've just said, but I know it's wrong.
Anyway, we've gotten way off of the question. I hope you guys enjoy this answer.
Yay! Goodbye. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of FanDive. We'll be back again next Monday diving into yet another fandom. Have a topic or question for the podcast? Head over to our website, fandive.tumblr.com. There you can also find any episode relevant images and general shenanigans that we get up to. It is Tumblr, after all. We're not afraid of being fans of things.